Never dated him.
Really?
There was just something about me that I guess he didn't like.
Sandra Bullock.
Please welcome Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock!
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock!
She's a beautiful lady. Yeah, very beautiful.
How handsome he was.
I can't believe you both had crushes on each other and you were so scared.
I found the love of my life. I just want to be 24/7 with my babies and my family.
How's life now?
True love is hard to come by, especially in an industry filled with so much drama and breakups, but the few love stories that do survive are celebrated and applauded. Sandra Bullock's love story with who she confessed was the absolute love of her life would make you smile.
Because we didn't,
Yeah, right. Is that how you do it?
that's how I do it.
Maybe that's why he didn't want to be with you.
And even shed a tear.
Possible for me not to love you.
But the path she took on her way to him was paved with challenges, struggles, and pain. Before the spotlight. Sandra Bullock was born on July 26, 1964, in Arlington County, Virginia. Her mother, Helga Matilda Meyer, was an opera singer and voice teacher from Germany. Her father, John Wilson Bullock, was an Army employee and part-time voice coach from Birmingham, Alabama.
Were you embarrassed that your parents were German?
Yes, my mother was only German, my dad was not.
He was stationed in Nuremberg, Germany, overseeing the Army's military postal service in Europe when he met Helga. They got married in Germany, and Sandra's maternal grandfather was a German rocket scientist from Nuremberg. The family eventually moved back to Arlington, where her father worked with the Army Materiel Command before becoming a contractor for the Pentagon. Sandra has a younger sister, Gesine Bullock Prado, who later became the president of Sandra's production company, Fortis Films. Sandra spent her early years in Europe, living in Nuremberg, West Germany, as well as in Vienna and Salzburg, Austria. She grew up speaking German and attended a Waldorf school in Nuremberg. While her mother toured Europe for opera performances, Sandra often stayed with her aunt Crystal and cousin Suzanne, who later married politician Peter Ramsauer. As a child, Sandra studied ballet and vocal arts, and even participated in her mother's opera productions, singing in the opera's children's choir. Sandra has a scar above her left eye from a childhood accident when she fell into a creek. Sandra attended Washington Lee High School in Arlington, where she was a cheerleader and performed in school theater productions. After graduating in 1982, she went to East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina. There, she earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Drama in 1987 and performed in various theater productions, including Peter Pan and Three Sisters. After college, Sandra moved to Manhattan, New York, where she worked various jobs to support herself while auditioning for roles. She worked as a bartender, cocktail waitress, and coat checker during this time, and it was in this same New York that she took her first steps towards acting. The steps to stardom. While Sandra Bullock was in New York, she took acting classes with the renowned Sanford Meisner. She started appearing in several student films and eventually landed a role in an off-Broadway play called No Time Flat. Her performance caught the eye of director Alan J. Levy, who was so impressed that he offered her a part in the made-for-television film Bionic Showdown: The $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman in 1989. This opportunity opened the door to a series of small roles in independent films, and the lead role in the short-lived NBC television adaptation of Working Girl in 1990. Sandra continued to make her mark in Hollywood with roles in films like Love Potion No 9 Inches, 1992, The Thing Called Love, 1993, and Fire on the Amazon, 1993. Her supporting role in the sci-fi action film Demolition Man, 1993, further showcased her talent. In 1994, she landed the role of Annie Porter in the blockbuster hit Speed, starring alongside Keanu Reeves. To ensure they had the right chemistry, Sandra had to read for the part, and she remembers doing all these really physical scenes together, rolling around on the floor and stuff. The film was a huge success, earning critical acclaim and being described by Rotten Tomatoes as a terrific popcorn thriller, with outstanding performances from Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, and Sandra Bullock. Speed grossed $350 million worldwide and firmly established Sandra as a Hollywood actress. She won several awards for her performance, including Best Actress at the 21st Saturn Awards and Best Female Performance and Most Desirable Female at the 1995 MTV Movie Awards. Sandra's next big hit was the romantic comedy While You Were Sleeping in 1995, where she played a lonely Chicago Transit Authority token collector who saves a man's life. The film was well received by critics, who praised Sandra's charming performance, saying it gave a good name to the romantic comedy formula. Her role earned her a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical. Later that year, Sandra starred in the thriller The Net, playing a computer programmer who uncovers a conspiracy that endangers her life and those around her. Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly praised her performance, noting how her overripe smile and clear, imploring eyes were reminiscent of Julia Roberts. Both While You Were Sleeping and The Net were commercial successes, making $182 million and $110.6 million, respectively. Sandra Bullock, America's Sweetheart. Sandra Bullock has often been called America's sweetheart by the media because of her friendly, direct, and unpretentious nature. She has been recognized for her beauty and charm multiple times, being selected as one of People magazine's 50 most beautiful people in the world in 1996, 1999, and 2011. In 2010, People also named her Woman of the Year, and in 2015 she was crowned the most beautiful woman. Bullock's influence extends beyond her looks. In 2010, Time magazine included her in its annual Time 100 list of the most influential people in the world. Entertainment Weekly dubbed her the most powerful actress in Hollywood the same year. She cemented her place among Hollywood legends by making imprints of her hands and feet at the TCL Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. That year, The Hollywood Reporter named her one of the most powerful women in entertainment, and Entertainment Weekly honored her as Entertainer of the Year, thanks to her successful films The Heat and Gravity. In 2014, Forbes ranked her #2 on its list of most powerful actresses. Adding to her accolades, Bullock received the Decade of Hotness Award from Spike Guy's Choice Awards, highlighting her enduring appeal and impact in the entertainment industry. The Bittersweet Taste of Love. Sandra Bullock was once engaged to actor Tate Donovan, whom she met while filming Love Potion No. 9. Their relationship lasted for 3 years. Over the years, Sandra dated several notable personalities, including football player Troy Aikman and actors Matthew McConaughey and Ryan Gosling. However, on July 16, 2005, Sandra married motorcycle builder and Monster Garage host Jesse James. They first met when Sandra arranged for her 10-year-old godson to meet James as a Christmas present. In November 2009, Sandra and Jesse found themselves in a custody battle with James's second ex-wife, former adult film actress Janine Lindemulder, over James's young daughter. Sandra and Jesse ultimately won full legal custody of the 5-year-old girl. In March 2010, a scandal erupted when multiple women claimed to have had affairs with Jesse during his marriage to Sandra. In response to these allegations, Sandra canceled her European promotional appearances for The Blind Side, citing unforeseen personal reasons. On March 18, 2010, Jesse issued a public apology, admitting his wrongdoing and expressing his hope that Sandra and their children could eventually forgive him. He stated, "There is only one person to blame for this whole situation, and that is me." By the end of March 2010, Jesse's publicist announced that he had checked into a rehabilitation facility to deal with personal issues and attempt to save his relationship with Sandra. However, on April 23, 2010, Sandra filed for divorce in Austin, Texas, citing conflict of personalities as the reason. Their divorce was finalized on June 28, 2010. In 2010, Sandra revealed that she had proceeded with plans to adopt a son born in January 2010 in New Orleans, Louisiana. She and Jesse had begun the adoption process 4 months earlier, and their son had been living with them since January 2010. However, they kept the news private until after the Oscars that March. Following their split, Sandra continued the adoption as a single parent. In December 2015, she announced that she had adopted a second child, appearing on the cover of People magazine with her 3-year-old daughter. Encounter with stalkers. Starting in 2002, Sandra Bullock faced a frightening situation. A man named Thomas James Weldon began stalking her, traveling across several states to do so. To protect herself, Sandra obtained a restraining order against him in 2003. This order was renewed in 2006, but after it expired, Weldon was released from a mental institution and started searching for Sandra again. Determined to stay safe, Sandra got another restraining order to keep him at bay. Then, on April 22, 2007, a new threat emerged. Marcia Diana Valentine, an obsessed fan of Sandra's, was found lying outside Sandra and Jesse James's home in Orange County, California. When Jesse confronted her, Valentine jumped into her car and tried to run him over. This dangerous encounter led to Valentine being charged with aggravated assault and stalking. Sandra quickly got a restraining order to keep Valentine away from her home, family, and work for 3 years. Although Valentine pleaded not guilty, she was convicted of stalking and sentenced to 3 years probation. In June 2014, another terrifying incident occurred. Joshua James Corbett broke into Sandra's Los Angeles home. Quick-thinking Sandra locked herself in a room and called 911. Corbett was later charged, and in 2017 he pleaded no contest, receiving a 5-year probation sentence for stalking Sandra and breaking into her house. Additionally, a 10-year protective order was issued to keep him away from Sandra. However, the story didn't end there. In May 2018, Corbett missed a court date, prompting police officers to visit his parents' home, where he lived in a guest house, to arrest him. Corbett refused to surrender and threatened to shoot the officers, leading to a 5-hour standoff with a SWAT team. Eventually, they deployed gas canisters and entered the house, only to find that Corbett had taken his own life, suffering from multiple incised wounds, according to the Los Angeles County coroner. These incidents highlight the darker side of fame that Sandra Bullock had to endure, constantly having to protect herself from obsessed fans and stalkers. The man who finally stole her heart. Brian Randall was born in 1966 and grew up in Portland, Oregon. He lived a relatively quiet life before his path crossed with that of Hollywood star Sandra Bullock. Randall's early years were spent in the Pacific Northwest, where he developed an appreciation for the outdoors, which would later influence his photography career. In the 1980s and 1990s, Brian Randall pursued a career in modeling. He was represented by well-known agencies like Ford Models, and his striking looks and charisma helped him land campaigns with high-profile brands. Randall modeled for fashion giants such as Saint Laurent and Harper's Bazaar, gracing the pages of several prominent fashion magazines. His modeling career took him to various parts of the world, exposing him to diverse cultures and experiences, further enriching his perspective. Despite the glamour associated with the modeling world, Randall maintained a down-to-earth personality. Friends and colleagues often described him as charming, easygoing, and deeply introspective. These qualities made him not only a successful model, but also someone who was well-liked and respected by those who knew him. Transitioning from modeling, Brian Randall found his true passion in photography. His experiences in front of the camera gave him unique insights when he stepped behind the lens, majorly focusing on children's portraits and outdoor events. Randall's photography style was known for its naturalistic and emotive qualities. He had a particular talent for capturing candid moments, making his subjects feel at ease, and drawing out their genuine expressions. This ability made him a sought-after photographer for various occasions, from family portraits to professional photo shoots. Randall established Brian Randall Photography, focusing on a range of subjects, including children's portraits, outdoor scenes, and events. His portfolio showcased a keen eye for detail and a deep appreciation for the subtleties of light and composition. His work was marked by a sense of authenticity, reflecting his philosophy that the best photographs are those that capture real, unguarded moments. Before meeting Sandra Bullock, Brian Randall was already a devoted father. He had a daughter from a previous relationship, and he cherished his role as a parent. This aspect of his life grounded him and added another layer to his character, making him a compassionate and nurturing individual. Randall was also known for his love of nature and the environment. His photography often featured outdoor settings, highlighting his appreciation for the natural world. Whether it was a serene landscape or a spontaneous moment of joy in a park, his work conveyed a deep connection to the environment. However, in his personal life, Randall was described as a private person who valued his relationships with family and close friends. He wasn't one to seek the limelight, preferring instead to let his work speak for itself. His modesty and humility endeared him to those around him, and he built a reputation as a reliable and trustworthy individual. The enduring love story. Brian Randall and Sandra Bullock first met under somewhat ordinary yet deeply personal circumstances. In 2015, Bullock was looking for a photographer to cover her son Lewis's birthday party, and a mutual friend recommended Brian Randall. Known for his talent in capturing candid, heartfelt moments, Randall seemed like the perfect choice. This professional encounter soon blossomed into something much deeper and more meaningful. The chemistry between Bullock and Randall was palpable from the start. Bullock, who had been relatively private about her personal life following a very public divorce from Jesse James in 2010, found herself drawn to Randall's down-to-earth nature and his genuine warmth. Randall, on the other hand, was captivated by Bullock's kindness, her devotion to her children, and her grounded approach to life despite her Hollywood fame. As they spent more time together, their connection deepened. Randall's easygoing personality complemented Bullock's more reserved nature, creating a balanced and harmonious relationship. Bullock's children, Lewis and Layla, also took to Randall, and he quickly became a significant figure in their lives. His background as a father and his nurturing disposition made him a natural fit in Bullock's family. Regarding that, Bullock had this to say on the Red Table Talk interview. "He's the example that I would want my children to have. I have a partner who's very Christian, and there are two different ways of looking at things. I don't always agree with him, and he doesn't always agree with me. But he is an example even when I don't agree with him." She also went on to add, "I'm stubborn, but sometimes I need to sit back and listen and go. You're saying it differently, but we mean exactly the same thing. It's hard to co-parent because I just want to do it myself." Their relationship progressed steadily, with the couple often seen together at various events and family outings. They were spotted holding hands, enjoying low-key dinners, and attending school functions for Bullock's children. Despite the public interest in their relationship, they managed to keep most of their private life out of the spotlight. This discretion was something they both valued greatly. One of the key elements that strengthened their bond was their shared values and interests. Both Bullock and Randall had a profound love for their families, a passion for philanthropy, and a deep appreciation for nature. In addition to their personal compatibility, Randall's presence brought a sense of stability and normalcy to Bullock's life. He was supportive of her career, but did not seek the limelight for himself. This balance allowed Bullock to continue her professional endeavors while maintaining a fulfilling personal life. Friends and family often commented on how happy and content Bullock seemed with Randall by her side. Their relationship also weathered some challenges, showcasing their resilience and commitment to each other. Bullock's past experiences with betrayal and heartbreak made her cautious, but Randall's consistent support and understanding helped her heal and trust again. They navigated the complexities of blending their lives and families with grace and patience. In other interviews, Bullock often spoke about Randall with great affection and respect, though she kept the details of their relationship mostly private. She once mentioned that Randall was a person who would drop everything to help a friend, reflecting his selfless nature and strong character. Randall, similarly, was known to be fiercely protective of Bullock and her children, always putting their well-being first. She clearly went on to state that Randall was the love of her life. The news that broke hearts. In 2017, Brian Randall was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, and it marked a profoundly challenging chapter in his life and the life of those who loved him, especially Sandra Bullock. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive neurodegenerative condition that affects nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord, leading to the gradual loss of muscle control. The early signs of Randall's illness were subtle and easily mistaken for normal aging or fatigue. Minor muscle twitches, slight weakness in his limbs, and occasional difficulties with fine motor skills began to surface. Initially, these symptoms were brushed off as inconsequential. However, as they persisted and gradually worsened, Randall and Bullock sought medical advice. The diagnosis came after a series of tests and consultations with specialists. It was a devastating blow. ALS is a particularly cruel disease, as it systematically robs the individual of their ability to move, speak, eat, and eventually breathe, all while leaving cognitive functions largely intact. For a man as active and physically capable as Randall, the news was particularly hard to accept. Upon receiving the diagnosis, Randall and Bullock were confronted with the stark reality of the disease. The prognosis for ALS patients varies, but the average life expectancy is typically between 2 to 5 years from the onset of symptoms. The progressive nature of the disease meant that Randall would gradually lose his ability to perform even the simplest tasks. Bullock, known for her strength and resilience, immediately took on the role of caregiver. She committed herself to being by Randall's side, providing not only physical care but also emotional support. Bullock's love and dedication became even more evident during this period, as she balanced her professional obligations with the demanding responsibilities of caring for a loved one with a terminal illness. The couple sought the best possible care and treatment options. They consulted with leading neurologists and specialists in ALS, exploring both conventional and experimental therapies. While there is no cure for ALS, various treatments can help manage symptoms and potentially slow the progression of the disease. Randall underwent physical therapy to maintain muscle strength for as long as possible, and various medications were prescribed to manage symptoms such as muscle cramps, spasticity, and difficulty swallowing. As Randall's condition progressed, their home life had to adapt to meet his increasing needs. Modifications were made to ensure accessibility and comfort. Bullock enlisted the help of medical professionals, including nurses and aides, to assist with Randall's daily care. The focus was on maintaining Randall's quality of life and ensuring he remained as comfortable and engaged as possible. As Randall's condition deteriorated, the emotional toll on Bullock was immense. She faced the heart-wrenching reality of watching a loved one suffer while knowing there was no cure.